Today we'll be going over the big confirmation of Alexa Bliss's WWE return, Brock Lesnar and Heyman's reunion, and how a WWE legend feels like Big E was disrespected. Let's start things off with the big confirmation of Alexa Bliss's return. Before the main event of the night started, WWE aired a recap video of the events that happened to Alexa Bliss on the night of Extreme Rules 2021. They refreshed the audience's memory on what happened that night for Alexa Bliss, and closed it off by announcing that Alexa Bliss's journey back to Raw starts next week. So what does this actually mean? Because it seems very vague. Alexa's journey to Raw starts next week. Does that mean we will actually physically see Alexa Bliss next week, or will we just see the start of teasers for her return? The way they're saying that her journey back to Raw starts next week makes it sound like next week won't be her actual return. But maybe we've got some sort of vignette or other teasers to start building the return story. Maybe it's a series of vignettes that's gonna explain what happened to Alexa Bliss following the events of Extreme Rules, where the character's mental state is at, what transformation she's gone through over the last few months. All of that could be what they start to tease us with. Similar to Aleister Black and how he had all those vignettes explaining his new origin story before he returned. Maybe Alexa's journey could be similar to that, and hopefully it is like that. Everyone loves shock returns. Announcing someone's returning next week in advance still builds up hype and ratings, but there's something about that unexpected shock return that's always gonna feel more special. So hopefully Alexa doesn't just return next week with no explanation or story at all. Hopefully they do take the vignette route, because Alexa Bliss is an extremely character-driven superstar. She deserves some great storytelling and explanation, especially before a big potential character change like this one that she's about to go through. So it'll be really nice if we see Alexa Bliss in these vignettes talking about what that night did to her and where she's at now. Maybe they'll keep that vignette series running for several weeks. And once they get us back up to date with what's happening to Alexa Bliss, then maybe that's when we'll get her actual physical return. Planning her return out like that and allowing us to see the transformation of the character change through a series of vignettes sounds amazing. But they haven't told us much besides that, so maybe Alexa does return next week, or maybe it is the beginning of the explanation of her new story. Alexa was quick to start teasing her return herself after the announcement was made official by WWE. So let's go over her teasers and all the possible directions to take Alexa in, because there's a lot of possible routes to go here. Alexa took to Instagram to post an old 2019 picture of herself with Nikki Cross on SmackDown. No caption to the photo, just a black heart emoji. It's interesting because Nikki is still on the same brand as Alexa Bliss, and Nikki is currently having a bit of a fallout with her tag partner Rhea Ripley. So, does Alexa Bliss have her eyes on Nikki and wants to reunite with her again? Possibly even get Nikki to turn to this evil side. That's definitely a possibility as well. Maybe Alexa wants to make things right with Nikki after the way they left things off. Remember that Nikki felt responsible for everything that happened to Alexa Bliss because Nikki had left her alone that night that The Fiend attacked her. So there's still some connections and links there between the two of them. Alexa then posted another old picture of herself during her goddess era, again with the black heart emoji. A lot of fans really want Alexa to revisit that era of her character, so that post generated a lot of hype as well. Alexa then posted a picture with Lily and then posted the Journey Back to Raw graphic. She then tweeted, "Next week you say," with a gif that said, "Mustache, much to avenge, revenge, and destroy." And that pretty much does it for all the teasers from Alexa Bliss. So telling by the gif and some of the other things she's been teasing recently, it looks like the theme of this return and new arc could be revenge. Which has fans thinking, who does Alexa really have to take revenge on from Raw? No one really has done anything wrong to her from this 2022 Raw roster per se. Obviously, the person that Alexa could have the most issues with should be Charlotte Flair. Charlotte destroyed Lily, Charlotte pinned Alexa in her hometown, and Charlotte was basically the reason why the character disappeared for all these months. So when it comes to revenge, the only one that fits that story for Alexa Bliss is Charlotte herself. But Charlotte's on SmackDown, so how does Alexa get to her? Well, fans have suggested that if Alexa Bliss wins the Royal Rumble, that basically gives her the right to challenge any champion she wants. So chances are that she'll go with Charlotte to take that revenge on her. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte would meet at WrestleMania, with Alexa finally taking the title and knocking Charlotte off. Alexa hasn't had a WrestleMania match since 2020, and she hasn't held a singles title in almost 4 years. So it's an overdue moment for her, no doubt about that. So we'll see what they decide to do with her. Hopefully they do turn it into a mini-series and explain her story, because there'll be a lot of fun to discuss and speculate about. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman reunited this week on Raw to open up the show. It was a great moment and a great surprise, but it sort of feels like something was missing at the same time. Last we saw Paul Heyman, he was seriously contemplating retirement and said that if he can't work with Roman, his career is over. We go from hearing that on Christmas Eve to Paul Heyman suddenly appearing with Brock Lesnar on Raw. So maybe it would have been even better if we got to see the explanation on why they decided to go public again with their working relationship. But then again, maybe that moment was planned for day one. They just couldn't do it because Roman wasn't there. So they decided to skip over that part for Heyman's story. But either way, we're finally getting the dream match of Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. So that story is going to be amazing, and even the little moments such as Heyman and MVP going back and forth with each other in the coming weeks will just be great as well. WWE legends and even fans feel like Big E was a little disrespected during his final night as WWE champion at Day 1. In all combat sports and even in wrestling, the defending champion always gets the honor of coming out last. It's basically tradition. Well, that tradition was nowhere to be found at Day 1. Brock Lesnar, who was a last-second addition to the match, had the honor of coming out last, while Big E, the champion, came out before him. So to see the reigning defender not come out last was a weird feeling, especially if you knew he was going to drop the title that night. It feels like the least they could have done for him was give him the honor of coming out last. Another crazy thing about Big E's title loss was that he was pinned for the title himself. In Fatal 5-Way match, out of all people to pin for the title, Big E was pinned for the title himself. So Big E can't even use the narrative of, "You didn't even pin me for the title," because Brock Lesnar most definitely did. Other fans have also brought up Big E's win-loss record as WWE champion, and it's a record that's mostly full of losses. So that's another thing that fans pointed out. And they hope that Big E would one day have another world title reign that would be even better than this one was. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.